You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments. Ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR. Projects management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company. Attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. Rudman Relight. The IFCO. Chiro Moguls. Chiro Health USA. Sherman College of Chiropractic. Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, and Life West College of Chiropractic. Let's hustle. This episode of Chiro Hustle is brought to you by Relight Hydration by Redmond. Here's the truth. Most Americans are walking around dehydrated, low energy, brain fog, muscle cramps, headaches, and they think they need more caffeine, when what they actually need are electrolytes. Hydration isn't just water. It's sodium, potassium, and trace minerals that help your body actually absorb and use the water. That's where Relight comes in. Made with Redmond real salt. No artificial junk, no neon dyes, no sugar overload, just clean, balanced electrolytes designed to support hydration, muscle function, and optimal daily performance. And here's the best part. Grab their sample pack with multiple flavors so you can find your favorite. Once you dial it in, it's an easy daily habit you'll stick with for life. Chiropractors understand this. The nervous system runs on electrical signals. Electrolytes help support that communication. If you're tired or feeling drained by 2 p.m., this is your upgrade. Go to chirohustle.com and get 25% off Relight with our exclusive promo. If you want a wholesale Redmond products, see the show notes for the wholesale application. Hydrate smarter, perform better, stay aligned.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 783 of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we have the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Billy DeMoss. If you want to hear our conversation about surfing and his almost 40 years in practice, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. It's another episode of the Chiro Hustle Podcast. Today I have Billy D on with me. Most people know him as Billy DeMoss. Episode 783. I'm going to let you know our big why. Why do we do what we do at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is we protect freedom of speech. I know that's vital to the messaging of chiropractic. So as soon as the scamdemic happened about 6 years ago, I included this introduction into our shows so people know where we stand as a podcast. We also believe in medical freedom and family health freedom. They're quite similar, but not the same. If you need help with that, find a chiropractor in your neighborhood. We also protect the sacred trust. It's BJ Palmer's last written words. If you're a chiropractor, you don't know what this is, go to chirohustle.com, click on the show notes, learn about the sacred trust. You might fall back in love with this beautiful profession. We also believe in subluxation-based chiropractic. I know I shouldn't have to talk about this, but they're taking it out of the colleges. They're not teaching philosophy to the kids anymore. So if you know a chiropractic student, please share the show with them. If you know a new grad, please share the show with them. If you know somebody that's been graduating in the past decade, please share the show with them. We also believe in innate intelligence, universal intelligence, and the educated intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical gets adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. And with that, this is episode 783. Billy DeMoss, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back, James. Jimmy B.
It's been too long. It's what I always say, man.
Yeah.
I didn't want to prepare you for any of this stuff.
Well, I don't like to be prepared.
But
I like to wing it.
Have you ever written a book?
I'm writing it right now. I have my book writing meeting tonight after work.
What's it called?
Patients. I can't divulge the name. It's a little bit too provocative. But when it comes out, it'll probably hit you in the face pretty. It's got, you know what BJ Palmer said a long time ago? He said, attract the eye to meet the mind. So it's got a very sexy cover and a very sexy title that will get people to pick it up, whether they like chiropractic or not. And it's really, it's a book for really the general public and for them to understand why chiropractic's been vilified. It goes through everything from the scamdemic to the germ theory to my impression of what chiropractic is, our history. It's going to be a pretty freaking amazing book, and it comes with parental warnings on the front too. So,
well, it's been in my thought process for like a long time. I'm like, has Billy ever written a damn book?
I got another one in the wings after that one, so it's going to be more like a autobiography kind of, because I've got a lot of great stories I could tell people with all my surf traveling and chiropractic stuff that we've done. So that one's going to be more about entertainment, but they're both entertainment. So,
well, last time I saw you speak, you were at Mile High. A year ago.
Yeah.
Where are you speaking this year?
I'm speaking at Michigan Association of Chiropractic in a couple of weeks. I don't know the exact date. I could look that up for you.
I'll be out there with you. It's going to be awesome.
Okay, cool. And then I'm going to be at New Beginnings in May.
Nice.
I'm going to be up in Vancouver. I think that's in October. What else? I think there's one. I'm speaking at Brad's gig in Las Vegas. Brad Glowacki. There's one other one. Oh, I'm speaking at the big event in Florida.
The FCA?
No, not that one. I'm so bad with names, dude. I hope she hasn't watched the show. Dr. Thor's event.
Oh, yeah. Kim Thor Adams.
Yeah. That's the name of that. I'm so bad, dude. I'm horrible.
It's okay. You said don't prepare me for this stuff.
Yeah. Maybe I should next time, so I don't look like I'm an airhead.
Well, I told you I had a lot of cool stuff to talk to you about today, and one of the things I wanted to get is, you to talk about if you're writing a book or not, which I think is amazing that you are, and you got another one in the works, and also speaking gigs, because honestly, man, this profession is full of people that present, but you do it a little different, man. I know you have coaches and people tell you like how to structure a talk, and it always becomes different.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever use that is for Cal Jam. So, and Roberto Monaco is amazing. He's
my coach too.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, there's nothing more. But I don't want to bug him too much because I'm probably one of his worst rigging students.
We're right there together.
Stick to the outline. What?
We're right there together.
Yeah, I know.
I know I've been pestering you for a long time about Cal Jam.
You?
Nah, just a couple times.
I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Any updates?
It's just I've got two big issues. One is a venue that is comparable, which probably isn't going to be one, so something close to comparability. And then I need an event planner, so get the word out for me. To be honest with you, I'm kind of enjoying the time off, and I'm really focused on my practice because I'm still in full-time practice. And we've added a lot of things to the office, which if you want to talk about that, we could talk about that. But I'm still super on fire about seeing people, and I know some people retire. In fact, I was talking to John Bernardi earlier today, and he says, why don't you just retire and go surfing? I go, I would get freaking bored out of my mind because I love what I do. I love subluxation-based chiropractic. And, it's got some days are great, some days aren't as great. It's not always, a crystal blue day at the office. But overall, I mean, like I was in Costa Rica once for 2 weeks and I was ready to come home, get back to my peeps. It was just like, when you love what you do, like I'm sure you love podcasting. It's not like it's a job. You just feel compelled to do it. And without having a practice, I know I would lose my mind, dude. I mean, I can only go on vacation for so long when I really want to get back in and I hate to say trench because some people get mad at me but I get back into the practice because I love people, man. And I love helping people. And I love waking people up to the truth. And, I did a workshop we do workshops every week here. It's all about teaching, and getting people to pull the blinders off. So this is how bullshit fucked up the system is, and it's all about protecting people. It's like health freedoms, like you're talking about. Most people don't understand things that they can do to, like next week, Judy Mikovits is speaking here at the office with Dr. Barkey, who's a local MD here. I'm just continually educating it because that's what the term doctor means. It means teacher. So, and my patients love it, and I love doing it. I mean, you love speaking. I love speaking. It's one of my favorite things to do,
Yeah, I think, just watching what you've done over, my lifetime. I've been connected with you pretty much my whole time since I've been in the
chiropractic. Yeah, we hit it off early.
Yeah, I've been around the block a couple times with you. It's really cool. It's honestly, it's an honor to host you on a show like this.
Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. I really do.
I think the world is like, I feel like I'm like at 11 a lot of times with people, and I'm like, you got to meet Billy sometime.
You're at 11? You mean like turning?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at an 11 with like my attitude towards the world, and like, this is all bullshit, and you guys got to like quit doing that, and thdon't give your kids like candy and sugar, and you got to filter your water, and they're spraying us like cockroaches, and everything's GMO that you eat, and you're just slowly like poisoning yourself. And I tell people this stuff all the time, and I'm like, they need to like meet Billy sometime.
Yeah. What's so funny too? It's just like you just assume that people already understand that. Like I had a lady that was one of my patients the other day, and she was going, "Is fluoride really bad?" I'm going, "How do you not know that? Even being in my practice, So the next workshop I'm going to do after the Judy workshop, I want to do a day in the life of Dr. Billy, just everything that I do from the minute I get up to the second I go to bed, even my sleep freaking process. It's like, oh my God, I got sand on my head.
How do you manage it on the road? That's a big question for me because I travel like nonstop. Yeah.
It's the worst thing about traveling. Sleep and food. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can find a decent restaurant sometimes, but it's just hard. And, you just buy a decent steak, but getting grass fed, the chances for that, like, I don't even eat out much anymore because it's crap and it's friggin' a ripoff. I just went to Wild Fork and spent $400 on steaks. That's what I do. I just put them in the freezer, and when I'm ready, I pull them out and throw them on the grill, a little sauerkraut with it, and maybe a little bit of fruit. I'm going to make a little salad. I'm eating a little vegetables lately. I'm kind of getting out on the far end of the limb there. But I was a pretty strict carnivore for a while, and I got patients that friggin' do it, and they friggin' do amazing with it. I mean, everything from autoimmune stuff to rashes to obviously being overweight, diabetic, all that stuff, it responds to it. I'm not promoting it, just do whatever you want to do, but it's such an easy way to eat too, because you're never hungry,
Well, it's a fix. It's a fix.
Right now, it's 1:15. I still haven't eaten yet today. So
I interviewed my buddy Darren Weiss, who's chiropractor, 17 years. He's done 13 Ironmen, a couple half. And I asked him the same question, like, hey, man, what do you do when you're on the road traveling all the time? He's like, bro, when the food sucks, I'll just fast.
Yeah.
He's like, if I'm traveling through the airport and there's nothing to eat there.
No, there's nothing to eat in airports.
He's like, I'll just fast for the day.
And a lot of times I take food now too on the road with me. I'll take, some of those Slim Jims, not the shitty ones, but the grass-fed ones. And I take dates or something, and maybe I have kumquats in my backyard. That's the stuff I use when I'm snowboarding too. I just fill my pockets so I don't have to go eat the crap in the friggin' lodge. The ski lodge, which is usually priced at like $40 for a lunch. So I'm frugal, dude. That's because I'd rather spend money on stuff that I like, like surfboards and surf trips. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about surfing. I know that it's a big part of your life. You grew up in Nebraska. You didn't have any surfing going on there.
No, but I remember when I was a kid, there was this show called Wide World of Sports. I don't know if it's still on TV. Is it?
No, I haven't owned a TV in 15 years.
Right. I haven't. In fact, I got to work on that. But it was Howard Cosell back in the day. This is when I was I remember I was in my basement in Nebraska, and it was like a full blizzard outside. It was probably 4 feet of snow drifts and shit. And I'm watching this pipeline contest in Hawaii, and everybody's running around in bikinis. And I'm going, oh my God, I'm down here in this basement freezing my ass off. And they're surfing these amazing waves. And I'm going, I'm going to do that someday, And then we moved to Dallas, so that didn't work. And then after we moved to Dallas, my dad said we're moving to California, and all I wanted to do was learn to surf when I got to California. And I've never turned back. I was 14 years old when we moved there. So I've been surfing since 14. I'm going to be 68 next month. That's 54 freaking years I've been surfing. And practicing for 40 now.
I know, man.
Time flies.
Yeah, coming from the Midwest, coming to the beach, it's a big transition. And do you think it's getting any better out there?
What's that?
Like California, the area.
Well, you just got to learn how to navigate, I'm saying, yeah, the politics suck, taxes suck. I'm glad. I mean, I don't know how some of these families do it, buying food and stuff, because everything's expensive here. So, but then again, I just had a patient that I can't mention their name, but they moved to Pennsylvania and they just came back and they said they just couldn't deal with the weather there and they moved back. It was more because they moved there for his job, but they moved back because they couldn't take it anymore. So again, it's got pros and cons, and I know how to navigate. I know when to travel. I don't travel like at rush hour. I'll travel at night or travel at noon. There's ways to navigate through the jungle. And I live in a really, 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 really nice area. I live in Newport Beach, and it's like I don't have like a whole lot of homelessness here. In fact, I hardly ever see homelessness here. It's super clean. They call it living behind the orange curtain, because it's very, very conservative here, and the real estate here is through the roof, which has been good for me. But yeah, it's just I live in a little bubble too, because I drive to LA, which is I call Los Angeles. I don't know how people do it. I just because it's graffiti, the roads suck, there's trash everywhere, there's homeless people. I get it. I understand why, California gets a bad rap, but if you know how to like situate yourself and figure it out, I just can't. I want to surf. Maybe I could live in Costa Rica, but I don't know if I would get bored.
So, have you ever heard the John DeMartini story? How he became a chiropractor and he hitchhiked and walked with a surfboard from Texas, from Houston to the beach.
The thing is, I've never ever seen him surf. He doesn't look like a surfer. You know what I'm saying?
But that was his his 19-year-old story about how he.
Yeah, true. But the thing is, it's like almost like, I don't want to use a bad analogy, but I'm going to. It's just like sex or going to a chiropractor. You don't ever just. Once you're a surfer, you're a surfer. Once you're a chiropractor, you're a chiropractor. It's not like something that I don't know, especially at a young age, because I knew him a long time ago. He spoke here. He spoke at the Dead Chiropractic Society a long time ago. So.
Where were you in Texas?
I lived in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dallas.
I was a Cowboy fan back in the day.
Who do you root for now?
I don't have time for that. I got way too much going on for that. So I guess the Eagles. The Eagles. One of my patients that moved back here, he's on the Eagles. So
cool.
Yeah.
So you like the Eagles now. In your bio, it says building an army for change.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been doing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was talking about vaccines 40 years ago, and chiropractors were thinking I was crazy. In fact, some of the people told, like my mentors, I go, dude, what are you talking about? Haven't you even looked? Have you read any books? I just want, and that's what the whole book's kind of about, that, because it doesn't open. It opens with just an introduction, but there's a whole chapter on there, the dumbing down of society with, public education. And it's not like you don't learn anything. You just learn how to spew back a bunch of bogus facts that they want you to think are truth and reality. But that's why people have all these preconceived ideas about chiropractic. Oh, you're going to have a stroke. Oh my God, he's going to paralyze you. And I still, I still see that in practice today, but that's all just been brainwashed into people because the whole medical profession has been brainwashed into thinking chiropractic's dangerous or it's quackery. So I want people to understand why people have the feelings that they have, So, and everything from believing that vaccines save the world to, just the whole medical monopoly and how the cancer industry and everything, man. And it's all based on a bogus theory called the germ theory, which is a bunch of shit. As BJ said, if the germ theory were true, there'd be no one living to believe it, which that's what got me going down every rabbit hole. It was 40 plus years ago when I read that. And then I started delving into books by Sherry Tenpenny and Suzanne Humphreys and Tim O'Shea and Stephanie Cave. And I could keep naming names. And then, then I went down that rabbit hole. And what I'm really focused on right now is making sure what the next big epidemic is going to be, don't you? And
curious to hear it.
What's that?
I'm curious to hear it. I have my hunches.
It's not heart disease and it's not cancer. It's going to be cognitive decline. And chiropractic has a huge role in that because we know that movement of the spine is one of the most important, movement period is one of the most important things you can do to prevent it, but especially upper cervical. So again, I'm looking at doing like upper cervical chiropractic with hyperbaric, with red light. And I do this stuff for me, but people are willing to pay for their brain, I think. And at the same time, their spine. So you can layer different things on with people depending on, how far they want to go with it. It's not only that, nutrition, I'm kind of a weird guy, but I think it's important what you eat, like we talked about. And it's not like I'm going to push a bunch of vitamins on people. I just think people need to stop eating shit that has toxicity, and especially make sure your water's clean and not in a plastic jug and it's not got microplastics in it and fluoride and chlorine. I mean, there's so many things. I have a whole brain workshop that I've developed for patients, which at the precipice is most people don't understand the importance of chiropractic. Again, I'm always pushing chiropractic to the next level. And that's what I track people to my workshops with, the bait. And then I get to tell them the chiropractic story that they never heard because they've been brainwashed by all the bullshit and their stupid friggin' MDs, right? So,
yeah, I guess that's a huge portion of Billy DeMoss that you just shared with me. But I know that there's a lot of families out there, like you're saying, that don't get the chiropractic message. They don't understand chiropractic. They don't understand why they should get their kids checked. They don't understand why
why everybody should have a chiropractor, like everybody has a dentist, you mean?
Yeah. So what advice would you give to families?
Well, you got to find a good family-based chiropractor. That's the thing, because there's a lot of chiropractors that don't even see kids. I mean, half my practice is kids. And the thing is, a lot of times people ask me, because I do know a lot of people from being in the profession for 40 years and traveling literally around the world, people that they can go to. And then I have, I could do any type of post on Instagram or Facebook and usually find people. So I've got ways I can find people for them. But yeah, and the thing is, I think also it's got to be made affordable for people too, because if they can't afford to bring their kids in, then what good is it, right? So, I mean, not give it away, but create some value there, but don't make it so astronomically unaffordable that people can't go. So,
yeah, I think that we have to start the kids young, getting them adjusted, because they're really, that's healthy people start young.
Right. Why wait till you're all jacked up before you come and see a chiropractor? That's what most people do.
So what's medical freedom mean to you at this moment?
Medical freedom, I think the big thing that comes in my mind is just don't be forcing your shit on me, like vaccines, which is where this is all going. So one of the things I've been talking about a little bit lately is Agenda 2030. You're familiar with that, right?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, right. So again, we're going to be forced medications, be forced vaccines. I mean, unless we get up and stand up. That's why I'm getting as much traveling in as I can right now, because I know we'll have limitations on travel for recreational purposes, because they're going to want us to live in our 15-minute cities, right? And again, right now, I think in California, they're really pushing to eliminate gas cars by just making the price of gasoline so exorbitantly high. And I saw gas for $7.29 yesterday. It's like, dude, it's going to be $10 pretty soon, and that's going to make it hard for some patients to come see their chiropractor, which is one of the things, the fears I have. So, it's just, I want people to understand the truth. But the part of the freedom is, it's like, even during COVID, when we went through all that friggin' chaotic, orchestrated, friggin' choreographed bullshit that we went through, they were trying to push vaccines on people. And, I wanted to go to Indonesia. So they said, you have to have your COVID shot. So you got to learn how to navigate through that bullshit system too and figure it out. You got to be smarter than the people pushing the laws. So health freedom to me is just raise your kids the way you want to raise them. But also, it's just like, people have been so literally brainwashed. And health freedom to me is being able to communicate this too, right? We want, like we're doing right now. Most people live in this medical Western civilization bubble that, if it's not a drug or it's not a surgery, it's quackery. And to me, all that shit's quackery. I mean, I don't take any drugs. I've never had a surgery, and I'm super healthy, right? Because health doesn't come from from a pharmaceutical industry. So that's a good question. I hope I answered it to your liking.
No, I'm just curious because I know a lot of people out there have these kinds of questions for themselves and they don't have access to you. So I'm kind of fielding the world's ideas and saying, what would Billy say? So I think it's really it's an information connection for me to ask you that, because if I'm curious about that, that means that other people are scratching their temples and they're saying, hey, I need some answers to this.
People to read more too. I mean, I have a ritual. I read every night before bed with my cat. So yeah. I was reading a book on peptides last night. I just read a book on chlorine dioxide. Sometimes I can't read all that heavy stuff before bed because then it gets like that chlorine dioxide book was freaking really heavy, by Dr. Corey, who's one of the frontline doctors for a while there. It's a great book. It's a great read. So you got to get out of the ritual of watching TV programming and get into different books. I'm also reading a book by Frederick Douglass. So I have like a few books going at the same time, depending on my mood, which is it's an autobiography of this guy that was a slave. And it's just like, it's so gnarly how these people were treated. So, I mean, I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. I don't know how that got into there for the medical freedom. I just really like people to read a lot. And it's not only good information, but it's great exercise for your brain too. For me, that's my big thing is brain function. Because as my mom got older, I noticed she was having a lot of health issues concerning cognition. And basically she had type 3 diabetes in her brain, right? Which is just because she ate too much sugar like most people do, right? Which screws up the microcirculation, and then you don't get the oxygen to the brain cells, and then they die, right? So everything in my practice and everything in my life is focused on just doing everything I can to stay healthy, but also going the step forward to work on brain health. So, which is really just a direct reflection of your overall health. It's not like anything separate, right?
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments, ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR, practice management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company, attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. Rudman Relight, the IFCO, Chiro Moguls, Chiro Health USA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, and Life West College of Chiropractic. Let's hustle. Hey docs, let me ask you something. Are you adjusting patients but not adjusting your revenue? Because a lot of chiropractors are still undercharging without even realizing it. They're accepting insurance allowances that are just too low. And they're hesitant to raise the fees because they're worried about pushback from patients. The problem is, when your fees and financial systems aren't aligned, it creates a slow leak in your practice. And when you try to grow, more marketing, more patients, maybe even another location, the leak gets bigger. There's actually a smarter way to handle this. Chiro Health USA helps chiropractors charge appropriately when insurance is available while still serving cash or limited benefit patients through a compliant discount medical plan. The results? Many practices see revenue increases around 15 to 20% without adding more visits. Same patients, better margins, more freedom. If you want to stop leaving money on the table and build a practice that's both profitable and compliant, check out chirohealthusa.com to learn more. Well, a little bit back, he said something about hyperbaric chamber. How frequently do you recommend, or how frequently do you use the hyperbaric chamber?
I don't get in there as often as I should. I probably get in there twice a week, to be honest with you. I mean, then I have a friend, John Babick, who's a chiropractor, who bought one at CalGym. He literally sleeps in his every night. And that guy's reversed age, to be honest with you. Because we live on a planet where we've cut all the friggin' trees down. Like people talk about global warming, go, fuck yeah, why don't you just grow some trees, man? The reason we have global warming is all this carbon dioxide we breathe that isn't being recycled into oxygen by the plants, bro. Well, let's spray a bunch of friggin' heavy metals in the sky and block the sun instead and tell people they can't drive their cars anymore. It's a chaotic thing. So again, it's just hyperbaric oxygen to me. And, I just had a lady that came to me that got a flu shot. She's paralyzed. I get a lot of difficult stuff because I put it out there, right? And she's doing amazing with both adjustments and the hyperbaric chamber, detoxification. She's got to get the crap out. So she'll be here next week for the workshop with Judy Mikovits. So yeah, I would love to be able to get in that thing every day, to be honest with you. And I got a sauna at home now, which I've been using because I've never been a guy that sweats a lot, but I get in that thing and it just pours out of you. So that's another way to get the shit out of my brain, right? Yeah, there's just so many things. And I have this amazing red light bed that is it's like a Ferrari, dude. But it's got right frequencies in it, and it's got pulsed EMF in it, pulsed electromagnetic fields. And it actually, you can talk into it and it'll listen to your voice and tell you exactly what you need done to yourself. It's just like freaking amazing, dude. And because I've been teaching this lately, there's 3 friggin' superfoods, right? What are the 3 superfoods?
Shoot. Sunshine.
There you go. That's number 1, light.
Yeah.
And then you look at chiropractic, sub, less, lux, light. The chiropractor frees up the subluxation and allows that innate intelligence through light flow through your nervous system to, keep your level of vitality. It's about vitality. That's what health is. It's not like an absence of symptoms. It's where you're at as far as, and that's one of the things we measure on HRV with patients of where their vitality is at, right? Because you're not sick because a germ jumped in your friggin' nose and got in your lungs. You're sick because your vitality's low, right? And you don't have any resistance. So it's all about, I've been in practice 40 fucking years, and I've never missed one day of work ever for being sick. I don't get sick, dude. But that's also the case when I was a kid. We didn't get all the 72 shots. I think I got 5 or something. And then, my dad didn't make a lot of money, and there was 5 kids. We never went to the doctor. Praise God for that. And I've never in my entire life ever taken an antibiotic because I've never really needed one. So, and there was one time I did need it, but I was resistant because I was in that chiropractic mindset. I'm not doing any antibiotics because I'm terrified. Your gut flora is your immune system, right? It's also part of your neurotransmitters for, cognitive function. So people, I just had a family, 2 kids come in. They're probably 4 or 5 years old, ear infections. And then all they've done is just destroy these kids with antibiotics. Their skin's all screwed up. Their color's off. They're always sick. And I go, let's try something different. And these kids are they're already transitioning to a different state of health, right? Because they've been destroyed by the medical profession, not because the doctors are bad. It's just because that's the only tools they have in their toolbox, and they think everything else is quackery. So number one, yeah, like you said, is light, subluxation, free up the life force that flows through your body, which is light. Let there be light, bro.
Number two, water.
Number two is oxygen.
Oxygen.
You can live a few milliseconds without the life force flowing over your nerves, the light flowing over your nerves. You can, like, I can do probably a solid 4 minutes holding my breath in the chamber, doing Wim Hof exercises. And I've worked on developing that. And oxygen. So you need the light to fire up the mitochondria to make energy. You need oxygen to make the ATP, right? So you can live 7 days without water, right? Is that what the number is? And you can live, 7. So water's the next one. Water's 3. You can live a millisecond without life force. And then you can live so long without oxygen. Like I can live 4 minutes without it, probably. Maybe if I had to, probably 5 minutes.
How do you feel salt lines up in all of this?
Salt?
Yeah.
Oh, this drink's loaded with electrolytes and salt, so I put salt in it. I salt the shit out of everything. You know Jerry Clum's son, who's a chiropractor? I went to dinner with him once, and he came to dinner, and he had 5 like test tubes of different salts. I go, this guy's serious about salt, and he's a smart motherfucker, right? So he goes, you should salt your food as much as you can handle the salt. So I've done that since then. I just make sure, because a lot of people are sodium deficient because they think it's bad. I mean, but you got to use good salt, right? So I use Redmond sea salt or Celtic. This has got Celtic sea salt, and I like to mix it up because they all have different, chemical and mineral backgrounds or compositions.
Well, I'm happy you said that because Redmond Salt came on as a sponsor for Chiro Hustle recently.
Good.
I exclusively
that's my favorite.
I exclusively use Redmond sea salt, or real salt.
And I say I use it probably 95% of the time. I just happen to have some Celtic sea salt today, and I wanted to put some in my drink. So
yeah, here's your next quest. Figure out how much lead and heavy metals are in the different salt brands out there, and you'd be thankful that you have Redmond 95% of the time.
Yeah, perfect. That's good news to know too.
Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole for you. I was like, well, if I'm going to get in bed with a salt company, I want to make sure it's the best salt company.
Yeah.
And cool place, man. If you ever get a chance, go tour their salt mines.
It's in Utah, right?
Yeah, it's in Utah.
Yeah.
I've been out there twice now. If you get on their exclusive VIP tour, they'll let you go shoot high range rifles at sticks of dynamite. Pretty freaking gnarly. And they have a can. They'll have their own guns for you.
Okay, perfect. It's hard to travel.
But they also feed you organic food. They take you down like 7 miles underground into the salt mines and show you the whole thing, the whole operation. You can actually like lick the salt wall. It's antimicrobial. Like it's to me, it's like a wonder element that most people are so deficient in and they have no knowledge about.
Last thing, high blood pressure and all these other problems, so
one of the coolest things about the tour is they also they'll fire cannonballs, bowling balls through a cannon.
Yeah,
it's absolutely wild. Yeah.
Wow.
You have to get yourself out there and do one of the salt tours.
You can line that up for me.
Let's go do it together.
All right, cool.
I have a list of questions I still have here for you. I know we're running short on time. I know we got about 15 minutes. Okay.
You got 18 left, so you're the one.
The importance of philosophy for the future of chiropractic.
It's everything, I think. Without philosophy, you're just another technician, in my opinion. So that's what changed me. It was going to DE, like Dynamic Essentials, and listening to philosophy, and Fred Schofield, right? But yeah, I've got my own technique. It's like I don't do just Gonstead technique or diversified. I do what I feel is the best thing for the patient, and it's kind of an amalgam of everything that I've learned. I don't want to Gonstead didn't go study a bunch. He just came up with stuff, right? And he started that technique. Same thing with Blair. Same thing with any of these, chiropractors that have a, barge. All these guys had their own kind of techniques based on. I mean, the chiropractic techniques always further evolving, right? So.
Yeah, I just think it's important for people to understand that philosophy. That's why I opened the show up.
It's everything.
That's why I opened the show up the way that I do now, because if they only listen to the first 2 minutes, I'm going to pique their interest about, the sacred trust. I'm going to get them to think about what the heck a subluxation is. I'm going to get them to start thinking about innate intelligence and universal intelligence and educated intelligence. And those are a lot of concepts that most of the chiropractic profession never talk about.
You know what I feel kind of like? I don't think they really believe in the whole somatovisceral connection of like organ function. And I see a lot of that stuff in my practice, and I see amazing results with it. It's just like, I had a lady that got pregnant and she was crying. She was crying to me one day, and I go, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "I need to talk to you in private." And then we went to my office and she's crying and crying. I go, "What's going on, Sylvia?" That's a fictitious name. And she goes, "I'm pregnant." And I'm going, well, I'm thinking to myself, is that good or is that bad? Are you by your husband or what's going on? She goes, "No, it's just amazing. It's amazing because we had been trying to get pregnant for 10 years. We've tried everything." And she goes, "I know it's because of everything you taught me. I know it's because you removed the subluxations in my back." Because she came in with low back pain and leg pain that she'd had for years, right? I don't think enough chiropractors have faith in that whole merit chart and the somatovisceral connections. I mean, I see so many kids with asthma and ear infections that I know it works, right? It's not like I have any doubts, And what else are they going to do? There's nothing else that they can do to fix it, right? If you've got deficient nerve flow, then you're going to have deficient organ function and you're going to have issues, right? So and then I'm also a big, big, big believer in just preventing spinal decay. And a lot of these chiropractors just adjust people till they're freaking out of pain and don't ever give people exercises and things that they can do, like their dentist does flossing and brushing. So my practice is really focused on, and I don't treat any of that shit, right? I'm not treating their cancer. I'm not treating their ear infections. I'm upregulating the body through releasing that light force to flow over the nerves to raise their vitality. So the body created you from two cells, bro. I mean, from a sperm cell and an egg cell. It came together and created you. You know what I'm saying? So there's like you said, an innate intelligence, which is just an extension of universal intelligence, which is God, G-O-D, right? That, people don't have any, these people are sticking needles in their kids on day one because they've lost that faith. Again, if the body can build you from two cells, it doesn't need a bunch of shit injected on day one to keep it healthy. You just need to live congruent to the way God expects to your DNA, right? You need to live, like eat right food, sleep right, be happy, and get adjusted, because most people stare at their phones too much, or even just like there's a video that went viral of me adjusting a good friend of mine's baby at the birthing center, where they had a home birth at the birthing center. It's kind of the same thing, but just and it's just amazing that most people don't even know that their children should be checked right after birth too. It's just like, it's just some people, maybe even some like chiropractors probably still think I'm fucking nuts, and I don't care, right? When you get to be 68, you don't give a shit what people think. But yeah, I remember a lot of chiropractors you probably interviewed on your show used to think I was crazy about vaccines, and now they've all done the big switcheroo too, you know what I mean? And they always used to say, well, it's not a chiropractic issue. I go, well, then I'll take off my fucking chiropractic hat and talk about it as a concerned citizen that gives a shit about kids and the integrity of their health. So, I've taken a lot of flack over the years, and a lot of people have. In fact, somebody just recently apologized to me the last time I spoke at an event. Somebody that I totally respect. They used to think I was nuts, and now they're starting to see the light, because if the COVID did anything good, it woke a lot of people the fuck up, including Joe Rogan. So,
well, I just did a spinal screening for a client out in South Carolina this past weekend. And there's a lady there that was, they have like a teaching program for teachers where the teachers are teaching from home. But anyways, I was talking to them about their programs and whatnot, and why chiropractic's important for those kids, and why you don't have to have some type of a end result like issue going on to actually get the spine checked. And I gave her the analogy of like the dental industry, and I'm like, look, if you go to the chiropractor one time, or if you go to the dentist one time, do you go back? And she's like, yeah, I go back. I'm like, well, that's the same for chiropractic. We just care about
your teeth.
Yeah. And I was like, we care about spinal hygiene, and we want to have people's nervous systems functioning the way they're supposed to. I was like, do you guys get any type of like, really critical things going on with kids, like suicidal ideation or, hyperactivity and things like that? And she's like, my God, you wouldn't believe how many cases of like poor self-esteem we have, and kids that don't know how to self-regulate, and kids. And I'm like, well, I'm not your teacher. You're the teacher. But I was like, it starts with what you feed the kids. I was like, you got to give them real food. I was like, you have to give them purified water. I was like, if we just start giving them real food and purified water. And then I was like, you understand the organ system, right? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, I've been a teacher for 17 years. I go, well, the organ system is organized. And it's organized by a neurological system. And if there's any misalignments going on in that neurological system, it's going to cause a dysfunction in the organ system. Now I go, what do you think most of these suicidal ideation things come from, or these behavioral things come from? What organ is that happening through? And she's like, probably the brain. I'm like, bingo. And I'm like, so it all goes full circle. If you go to the dentist once, would you go back? Is the same way that if you want good quality neurological firing for the brain, you have to consider getting those kids' spines checked, feed them real food, and then give them some pure, clean drinking water. And you might see miracles happening.
And get them exercise and get them off their ass and get them off these POSs and these pieces of shit right here, right?
Well, I didn't take her down that far on the trail with me. I was just trying to get her to understand that.
Right.
Well, I was trying to get her to understand that you got to give kids real food and real water if you want them to have that quality of like energy. And then you have to think about if they're having bad feelings and bad ideas and they're not progressing like emotionally, you have to get their spines checked.
Yeah, and I agree 99.9%. 100% really. But I also think people need to understand a lot of that suicidal ideation and all these is because kids get fucked up from vaccines. And then as a result of that, they take SSRIs or they're taking Ritalin or some other drug that just doesn't ever address the issue. Right. And the subluxation's huge. Yeah. Upper cervical, especially. What?
Another question for you. What's your feelings when you see a kid in a stroller with an iPad?
I think it's child abuse, personally. I even think it's child abuse when like a mom's like when they're pregnant and they're like holding the phone next to their, the fetus, the baby, right? But I'm weird like that. I mean, I see it all the time. I had a patient that would stand out front and talk on his phone all the time, and I go, dude, do not just hold it away from your head a little bit. And he was just out there every 3 times a week, the phone next to his head. On the left side. That's which side he got his brain tumor on. It's the left side. This stuff's real, It's like it's part of the whole master plan. This is not a POS piece of shit. This is a bio weapon, right? So you got to keep that thing as far away from you as possible. And giving kids something like that, I don't know how much EMF a iPad, probably just as much as a phone, right?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm just not into any of that technology. In fact, as you know, I only got that phone like a couple of years ago.
So what advice would you give to parents if their kids are already addicted to cell phones and technology?
Send them to CPA. Cell Phone Anonymous.
It's the new AA.
Yeah, it is. Because it's this stuff, this is worse than cocaine. I guarantee you. Just give your kids some Coke instead of getting them a phone. Make sure it's organic Coke, though. You know what I mean? People say, "Oh, they're organic cookies." I go, "So what? It's still sugar."
So the Maha movement is making a big splash, and chiropractic is supporting it big time. I always tell people if they'd support chiropractic as much as they're supporting the Maha movement, we'd get places with chiropractic. How do you
what?
If the chiropractic profession supported chiropractic as much as they are supporting this Maha movement, we'd be getting places. But it took this Maha movement for chiropractors to kind of unify, if you will. How do you feel like the Maha movement's doing at this moment?
You know the Maha movement started, don't you?
With you.
It started at CalJam, and it was because we had the fucking hats first. And then I think Bobby, in fact, I called him out on it once. I sent him a text. I showed him a picture. It was me wearing a hat in 2016, because that's what I would do. I would wear like an AC/DC shirt. It was an album cover. It was AC/DC, and I would just change a few things and make it chiropractic. So like Bruce Springsteen cover was a Born in the USA, which was chiropractic, was Born in the USA, right? And I just changed Springsteen's head to
BJ Palmer.
Yeah, and then I had the Highway to Health one, which was a Highway to Health picture with me and Fred Barge and Sid Williams and on the front, But then I saw the MAGA hats, and I go, well, let's just change one initial and make it Maha and make America. And then we I think those came out at CalJam in either 2016 or 2017. So
how do you think they're doing with it now?
I just think they have a lot of probably bridles on that's not allowing them to do everything that they want to do. Like just the whole thing with the glyphosate issue. And I don't follow the news, so I don't know what's going on, to be honest with you. So I just do what I do in my office, and I try to keep my head out of that whole, because the world's basically pretty screwed up right now. I don't know if you noticed that, but I think it's pushing towards that 2030 agenda, right? But yeah, I mean, Bobby's doing a great job, and his hands are going to be tied. You got big corporate dollars that, I don't know how much blackmail is going on behind the scene. I don't know. You don't know what's going on, really. I think, some of the issues like getting the artificial flavors out in the food coloring, that's nice and great, but why don't we get the friggin' elephant in the room out, which is all the fucking vaccines, right? It's just like, to me, that's a way bigger issue. But see, Big Pharma is not going to allow that to happen, right? I mean, still in California, they're pushing the 72 shots, before you can go to school, all that crap. Before you go to school and get brainwashed into a system that's basically, I like George Carlin. He used to tell the story right,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So chiropractic culture, where are we today with the profession?
As far as, what do you mean by culture?
Well, we have different camps, and we have, people that are out there that are doing a great job, I think, like Paul Reed and Tim.
Oh,
Young.
yes.
And I think we have great groups out there that are doing it the right way.
Right.
But then you have other groups that aren't.
Yeah, that's never going to change, bro. That thing is, I think we should have that freedom. I don't think we should suppress anything. Maybe I'm saying that just instantaneously out of my mouth, and maybe I should think about that statement first. I mean, as long as they're not doing things like pushing drugs and, vaccines into the profession, because we've always been a drugless profession. So I don't see how anybody could want to change that into something that it's never been. You know what I'm saying? We've also philosophically, there's going to be a lot of differences in our profession. You're never going to get rid of people that don't think philosophically the same, and they'd like to get rid of me or that our side, or the people that think in more chiropractically, and then you got great researchers like Deed Harrison. You got these schools teaching kids people shouldn't even get X-rayed. They go, what the hell? They hold the phone to their head all day. What are you worried about a little microwave? I mean, a little bit of radiation for, right? So again, it doesn't even hold water. The ironic thing is, like, it wasn't this year, but it was last year. I found a metastatic cancer in 3 people's spines, which was a good thing that I took x-rays. So I personally it's a safety guard for me, protecting my ass, but also protecting these patients. And the reality is 95% of the people come in here expect x-rays. I don't know how I got on the x-ray tangent. It's just the whole thing with the student.
It's culture. It's a culture.
Yeah. The other thing that's funny is that I have an associate that's working here. He's just here temporarily until he finds a bigger space. But he came and saw me speak at an event, and he had heard, like he went to LACC, or Southern California University of Health Sciences, and they still talk shit about me at the school. It blew me away. He goes, they talk all kinds of crap about you at LACC. And I don't see what the problem is with what you're talking about. And I go, I don't either. I guess maybe they don't want you to see volume. Maybe they don't want you taking x-rays. Maybe they don't want you to talk about the somatovisceral effects of subluxation. I don't know what it is. And, I started there. Then all 3 of my brothers went there. 2 of my cousins went to the school there. I've referred, not intentionally, but people go to CalJam and then they want to go to chiropractic school and they want to move to Iowa and they don't want to move to Hayward, California. So they end up going to LACC. And I go, if you go there, you just got to get the philosophy. Maybe I badmouth the school a little bit because they badmouth me, right? But I've referred the shit, not referred directly, like I said, but they've indirectly get a lot of patients from the stuff that I put out there because people want to become chiropractors. In fact, I can probably say that CalJam's probably referred more people to chiropractic schools than a lot of other events because it was not only open to chiropractors, it was open to the general public too. Like I had a guy came to see me because we had Alex Jones at CalJam, and I got a lot of flack for that too from all the chiropractors. I can't believe we had Alex Jones at your show. He's very controversial. I go, whatever, bro. But he came to see me just because of him, and then I spoke after Alex Jones did, and he just was totally, he'd never heard anything about chiropractic before. And then he ended up going to chiropractic school right after that, So.
Well, Billy, time has come
yes,
to
it is. It's 56:48
to the top of the hour.
Yep.
Love and appreciate you.
If anybody just would like me on Instagram, Dr Billy DeMoss, there's also a California Jam page. And then if you're out there, DeMoss Chiropractic Instagram page. And
I'm going to send.
Look out for my book coming out.
I'm going to send you a kid that needs to learn how to do occipital lifts.
I love those. Patients love them too.
And he's a great kid. He's been helping me a lot over the past 2 years, and he really needs to learn that technique. So I'm going to send him out to you. But when's CalJam coming back? 27?
Yeah, 27 most realistically.
Cool, man. Love and appreciate you.
Chiro Hustle. Love you, buddy.
Chirohustle.com, guys. Come check us out. You guys are only one story away. Keep hustling. See you guys on the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.